the carrier IQ flap is not going to go away. And as we discussed it yesterday, this has become very prevalent for carriers in the crosshairs. Think about the name of the company, Carrier IQ. And Carrier IQ is forthcoming about their relationships with these vendors. And you can download software for your Android device to find out if the Carrier IQ is running in the background. And what are you going to do about it? Well, you could do a lot of things. It was also said that Apple has some Carrier IQ software baked into iOS, but it's not turned on by default. So let me just show you here. And I don't know if I have the brightness turned on perfectly. I'm kind of monitoring the background. So I'm in settings here. And if I go to, I think it's General, and pardon, I'm doing this by memory. General, About, scroll all the way down, Diagnostics and Usage. And then you have the ability here to automatically send or don't send this information. What kind of information? Well, I'm glad you asked. Here's where it is. Here's where you find it. You just dive in deeper there into that menu, and then you could look at these specific logs. But, look at this. It's to me, it's gibberish. It's English, but it's a bunch of hex codes and load times, and it's geek. And I don't even care if you see this. Like it's worthless information to me. Now that doesn't mean that someone couldn't use this for something bad. That is certainly a possibility. I think the biggest issue that I have, and that most people would have with Carrier IQ, is the lack of transparency. That's what this is about. Let the user know. Let the user control. Give them that option. I'm grateful that some of us have that option, and hopefully we will see that option become available to us, especially in certain devices. The Carrier IQ software acts almost like a rootkit. You can't disable it. You can't even see it running. You can't, or at least easily. Most people won't know it's there. In fact, I would say if you're concerned about your safety of your data, I would be more inclined to tell you stop sharing stuff that you don't want to share. That's one way of doing it. I'd be more worried if someone saw something I didn't want them to see, but the chances of them getting to that information, as long as I don't share it, I guess I'm okay, right? Mr. Rankinator says, I don't think it's fair for a company to track your usage of their product without asking you first. That's exactly what I'm saying. That's the problem. And I think a lot of people are having the same issue. This is, if anything, that's the core of the issue. It's not that the software exists. At its heart, it's there for a good reason, to help with diagnostics. At least that's what they say. And not that I'm putting on a tinfoil hat or anything. I'm not a huge conspiracy theorist. But I think it all boils down to a huge lack of transparency specifically between the carrier and the user. I prefer any device that works.